I feel like I'm eating fast food pretty much every day.
My plates are very one color, and I'm forced to eat vegetables, but not in carrots. I feel like that's my main food group right now, carrots and like bread.
I think there's not a lot of healthy options. I think, especially with TDR, there's just kind of a lot of like very high in carb foods. There's not a lot of protein.
Do I feel like I've really had a great, a Michelle Obama? Like I've hit every section of my plate I need to hit, the starch, the vegetable. No, but I do feel less hungry. So it's a win.
Coming on campus after just having celiac for about 2 months was very hard. I lost about 22 pounds in the first few weeks, which mostly because I wasn't eating, but also I was too scared to experiment and try. And so I met with the campus dietitian. I got a lot of advice on what was safe for me on campus, what wasn't safe for me on campus, and I learned that there is a lot of options on campus. Almost every retail location besides Panera and Subway have options for me. TDR is very, very flexible. They have, gluten-free stations like Delicious Without and Avoiding Gluten, but also a lot of options at the regular stations are safe for me as well.
With celiac, it's a chronic illness and autoimmune disorder. So every time I get contaminated, it's like a full body effect. And the dining hall, I don't think they understand how big of an issue it is and how sensitive you can be to cross-contamination.
The hardest part about celiac is it's easy to avoid gluten directly. It's easy to not pick up a pizza or a bagel or something, but it's the cross-contamination that can really get to me because I can't control in a kitchen whether they use the same oil in the fryers or the same utensils or the same grill.
Friday night to Sunday lunch, the Avoiding Gluten section is closed. And they still have the Delicious Without, but that's kind of the only station. The other stations will have gluten-free stuff, but it's not safe cross-contamination wise.
This semester has been particularly bad. I actually went there and they had farro, which is a glutinous grain, at the dedicated gluten-free station, which is really awful. They do have a good protocol. If you actually look at their rules, what they're supposed to be doing is great. They just don't follow it.
I get salads from the Freshens, and all of the salads come in a tortilla for some reason. So I always put a little message in because there's nowhere to select, no tortilla, please. I'm allergic, thank you. Because I initially found when I just put in the no tortilla, please, that I would still get it, and then I'd have to be I'm really sorry, but I put this note in, and they'd be annoyed. So I started putting in the I'm allergic, and I find that they've been pretty helpful and responsive.
The biggest thing for me was kind of gaining that ability of trust that if I tell them I have an allergy, they will do the right thing. In this environment, especially at AU, I have that level of trust because I've never had a negative experience here. On the advisory board, I'm a student. The term we use is at large, but I'm just a student representative. The whole point of the dining advisory board was for students to be able to directly tell the administration what our problems are and what our suggestions are for dining. One of the things that we were told is that they can't make any changes if they don't know what the students are feeling. But we had a very, very long conversation about meal plans, pricing, what's offered in the meal plans, and the administrative group that was there took those notes in and they submitted them to the administration to be approved directly. And they haven't been approved yet, but the hope is that the advice that we gave gets implemented.
I just feel like it's insanely overpriced for the options that we have on campus. The portions can be kind of bad. The Panera, the you pick two, is that all you can do is kind of ridiculous. And it's kind of like a you pick 1/3. That's what I like to call it because you don't even get a half sandwich, which is kind of frustrating.
No, it's not worth it. It's not, but at the same time, I get lazy, so I don't know, it's convenience more than anything, which is on my end, but it's so expensive.
At first it seemed a bit excessive, but after seeing how much food we consume in a semester, it's really hard to pinpoint exactly if you're getting your money's worth. But I do believe there's quite a lot of options, so overall I feel like it's pretty alright.
When I first got here, I thought I was being overfed. Because
There are like so many options.
I guess I'm like the outlier because I've heard a lot of other people are like, oh, TDR isn't good, like the food on campus is terrible, but personally I don't have anything against it.
I just don't feel like there are a lot of options on campus. I feel like I end up eating the same thing every day and it just isn't like nutritionally like filling enough.
The things that I felt comfortable eating, I would say was not super nutritious. I remember I was a freshman and got really sick from eating meat that they had there because I just didn't know yet. So then after that, I would only eat things like rice, like plain rice or plain potato.
The amount of people I know who got food poisoning is so insane. Like multiple people are like ill from like the chicken, which is like crazy.
I feel like I'm not getting enough vegetables.
I feel like sometimes I'm not getting enough protein too.
Yeah.
Unless I like order grilled chicken from the
I
grill.
love TDR grilled chicken.
Yeah.
That
Every day. Yeah.
Good source of protein, but I feel like some of the vegetables are not really cooked that well sometimes, so then I don't want them, so then I don't eat any vegetables.
I feel like I don't really eat a lot of vegetables, but maybe that's my fault, I don't know.
I usually will cook dinner myself in my dorm, so more if I'm supplying myself rather than the school supplying me.
I'm vegetarian and also don't have dairy and went vegan for a little bit, and it is really difficult to maintain certain diets.
I've been vegan for 5 years and I'm very passionate about veganism and its impacts it can have on the environment. I still would like to see a lot of progress with improving the options for plant-based eating, but I haven't seen too much change yet.
Why don't we have more plant-based options, and why are we not encouraging students to eat more plant-based?
I would say our main challenge is just demonstrating student interest, because I think the dining hall is hesitant to change up some foods without knowing that students will actually enjoy it and actually eat it.
People here will be very critical, but I do like it. And like, I like that there's also other options, but I did hear that they closed up a couple before we came here.
Pickle
So that's also,
District
yeah,
pickle,
the district pickle.
I'm a Jewish student, and just like finding kosher options was impossible, and then now like there is no district pickle, so probably even like more impossible. There's only one place where there are kosher meals offered, and that's in TDR, and sometimes they forget to serve them, I've heard.
I think that for a campus with such a large Jewish population, there needs to be that accessibility and option there. I don't know if TDR still has it, but there used to be a kosher like section in the back, which, you know, always makes you feel kind of like a second-class citizen.
I don't feel like I have the option to eat healthy here unless it's TDR. Like, we have Subway, Qdoba, and Panera, and a lot of that food is not like really healthy food that you can benefit from. So
If I do get something a little more healthier, like a salad from Panera, it's just not filling enough. Like, I don't feel like there's a wide range of actually filling and healthy foods on campus.
For TDR, I think that the salad bar is nice, but it sometimes can seem a little bit limiting, and sometimes the food just like is not right, which is kind of bad.
I feel like I can mostly eat at TDR, and going in there in between classes is hard. And also, like, I know for people who pick up food, it's hard for them to time that because usually it's not ready when you need it to be ready.
Because TDR closes at 9 and I get out of class at 8, by the time I get there, there's not always a lot of food left. And so then I'm like, well, here's my fries. And so that's not really great.
I'm able to make it to TDR like right after work, so I think it's pretty decent. And like besides like TDR, there are like other options on campus that are still available if I get hungry.
I definitely find it difficult to find time to eat, especially I have class every day, and I also work on campus and off campus, so it's very difficult to find some place that's open after like 8 or 9, especially when I want something healthy. The places that do serve breakfast, they close at like 10:30, which is really early for a lot of people, especially like TDR and Panera, and those being our only real on-campus options that you can have breakfast. It's kind of like, do they even want us to like eat a full nutritious breakfast?
I work here shifts till 9 o'clock, so when I get out of work, TDR is not open anymore.
I'm not a huge fan of Subway, and Subway is really the only thing that's open late. So if I'm ever hungry like late, I
I basically plan to get like a meal, especially if it's like a Friday. I'll go earlier and like pick up food and just put it in my fridge because nothing I really love is open.
One thing that's difficult for us is we both are do dance, and that ends at 8 a lot. So if like it's not a TDR day for us, the only options are like Qdoba sometimes or Subway, which gets really repetitive sometimes.
The hours are based on when students eat food. So for example, like Qdoba is usually closes around 9:15. They close at 9:15 because they don't get many orders past that hour. They had hours earlier in the past, and though there was not enough sales to justify being open that late. Locations like Subway or Eagle Express that are open later are very, very popular at those late night hours.
The dining plan, it's like some people will have days where they have to like figure out where they're gonna get their meals, and with the pantry, it's like an easy way to like get like healthy like cookable food or just like ingredients.
The market has been around for a few years now, but not really in the capacity that you're seeing now. We moved to this space in 2024 in the spring semester, and our mission is just to provide supplemental support to students. We recognize that living, especially in DC, is very expensive, and so if we can just help alleviate some of the financial burden that students face.
We have this saying kind of, or like motto, that the garden is growing the future we deserve. I think we kind of believe in this mission or this ideal world where we don't have to pay for healthy, clean food, and we can get that food locally.
I offer one-on-one consultations to sit down with students, address their concerns, their needs, and try to connect them to broader community resources. We have a quick form, Qualtrics form, that students who are interested in accessing the market can complete.
All students are eligible. All you have to do is just apply through the website, and there's no requirements or anything. All you have to do is apply, and then you can be accepted within a few days.
I've used the food pantry a few times. I think it's a really great thing. I feel like a lot of people don't really go there, but it is open for all students, and I think it's a great place. Just if you need a quick snack, they have a bunch of granola bars.
We have a few main partners at the market. Our primary partner being the Capital Area Food Bank. They supply the largest portion of the food that we do provide to students. We also have a partnership with Chartwell's here on campus too, but we also rely pretty heavily on donor support as well. So people will, drop off different various donations throughout the year. We also do some themed drives and other campaigns that are really focused on collecting some of the items that we might not see in the market on a day-to-day basis. We recognize that we serve students a lot, so asking them to also donate might not always be super feasible, but we're always looking for ways to collect donations, and so we have some different bins around campus that students, faculty, staff, anyone can just drop off donation bins. We even have one outside of our door too. I will say one thing I would love to see in the future, and something that I'm trying to work on, is working to have the market be something that is picked up by the university as part of the overall budget.
I feel like the space we have right now is a little bit limited, and I feel like they could help with organization.
This space is for everybody. I think a lot of students, knowingly or unknowingly, have this assumption that they need to be experiencing some emergency or drastic form of need for them to come visit the market.
I feel like sometimes people feel like they can't go into the pantry because it doesn't look good on them. Food accessibility should be available to everyone.
I have used the food pantry once, and it was actually because I couldn't find any kosher options during Passover. So I went up there and found a couple snacks that were kosher for Passover.
I just encourage all students to come by, check it out, and even if they don't necessarily feel like they need to use the market, find ways to get involved and give back.
Before we could donate buckets of figs to the AU market, and now we can't because we lost all of that. In the spring of my freshman year, we were informed that the garden was going to be displaced due to the construction of the athletic center. Everyone was really shocked, and it was just frustrating because we didn't know where we were going to be, and they didn't ensure us that there would be a garden. At first it was really heartbreaking, but then we realized the potential for students to like actually access the space, because like we get way more foot traffic here. It's wheelchair accessible, it's a bigger space. When you have a connection with the space, you want it to last for a while. We want to be thinking like generationally. We want to be thinking into the future. Even if I never get to like eat an apple from that tree, someone will 10 years from now, and that matters just as much, and maybe it's more important. A garden thrives when you care about it, and you care about the plants, and you care about the people. And I think one really special thing is because we meet every week, we're like checking in on each other and always like, yeah, just caring for each other, because you're not just growing food for yourself, you're growing food for your community.
You shouldn't have to always just meet with someone one-on-one and get a full tour of TDR to know what's available there. You shouldn't have to meet with someone to learn about the retail locations or to complain about the hours. There should be a more streamlined process to be able to give suggestions or complaints without having to be part of a board or having to dig on 5 websites to find an email address to talk to.